keep your hoes in check.
Super.
I got this girl and she wants me to duke her.
Super.
Supersuits gotta do two things. Take a bullet and look damn good doing it. They're a symbol, something that gives people hope for a better tomorrow. It's the torch at the end of a dark tunnel. It is a sign that says you are safe. Or at least some of them are. With superheroes being around for as long as they have, we've seen an evolution from simple skin-tight colors to a jumbled mess of lines and accessories. And not just in comics, live action, games, anime. Superheroes are a constant icon, and with their popularity only growing, I feel like I just gotta talk about the good, the bad, and the downright ugly of supersuits.
Super.
So, I gotta get this out of the way first. I'm not much of a comic reader. I don't even know if I can read. Not to say that I don't like them. I've given a few runs their fair shake, but you comic fans can't lie and say that it's easy to just get into comics. You got 60 years of history with 10 stories running at the same time, each slipping in and out of each other, all in tandem. It's a lot. It's kind of what this video is gonna feel like. So, forgive me if I speak out of line and don't know the lore as to why Superman wears his undies on the outside. I wasn't born in. His tights were inspired by circus strongmen throwing a cape to show he can fly and slap a big fat S so you know who you're looking at. I won't lie, growing up, I thought the undies looked pretty silly, but from a design standpoint, it makes sense. It breaks up the blue and prevents him from looking like a stick of deodorant. Plus, it adds a bit of modesty because trust me, without these, you can see way too much. Over time, supersuits have evolved with more accessories, seam lines, little details here and there, but a classic superhero will always be wrapped up in colorful tights. I guess they're not always colorful. Sometimes they're black or gray. The real fun comes when creators try translating these iconic suits into modern times or completely new mediums entirely. And boy, do I have a lot to say about some of these translations. Back in the day, the standard live-action supersuit was just a straight one-for-one copy from page to screen. Look at any of the old Superman movies, that's just the dude from the comics. Actually, Superman's long history in film gives us a great timeline in design trends for live-action supersuits. For the longest time, it was just straight spandex, like what I'm wearing now. Then, in the early 2000s, we get Superman Returns. This slight change leans into more realistic materials, which was following a broader trend in comic book movies at the time. But the big change came with the darker tone of the movie came a darker and way more complex suit. All these little extra elements like the pseudo belt does a great job breaking up the blue, which is needed because they took away his undies. This suit shows the change from more lighthearted, whimsical superhero films to the insistence on realism and groundedness. You're taking this man seriously because he's wearing his undies the right way.
There's a star.
L-suit? How am I supposed to be intimidated by a guy wearing that?
James Gunn has done a fantastic job bringing the silliness of comic books back into live action. His suits have been bright and vibrant, and this Superman suit is no different. But you can start to see modern supersuit trends start creeping in, and I gotta say, I don't love the suit. And it all boils down to one thing: over-design. Okay, I know that phrase has been thrown out a ton, and while this suit still is over-designed, I actually feel like it's more useless design. Why does Mr. Man of Steel need padding? It gives the suit an almost looser fit and loses the iconic muscle definition. Add a bunch of unnecessary lines that clutter up a simple but effective costume, and you got the problem with a lot of modern supersuits. They're doing too much for no reason. And I know there's certain comic runs where he has a more detailed suit, and even the newest animated series has a more armored look, but I still feel like the criticism still stands. It's detail for detail's sake. At the very least, these still keep the essence of the original character, and I think Gunn has been doing a fantastic job at keeping that keeping that essence in more characters that he brings in, like Polka Dot Man, fucking Peacemaker, and the Mr. Terrific, the new guy in the new movie. If we really want to get into the thick of it, then we have to mosey on over to... I'm not the only person to criticize the MCU and bring up how their supersuit designs are kinda cheeks. It's low-hanging fruit, and I am well aware of that, so I want to have a little nuance and try out the good old compliment sandwich technique. I know these aren't part of the MCU, but the early Captain America movies actually did a pretty accurate job of translating his design from the comics at that time. Then, boom! We're living in the 21st century and the MCU starts cranking out more grounded, realistic comic book movies. That approach, though, actually works for Captain America. The guy's in the military, so of course he would be wearing more military gear, dyed blue for the Cap aesthetic, minus the first Avengers movie. I don't like this suit. One of my main gripes is it kind of makes him look small. I like my Captain America beefy. After that, I think Marvel was spooked to make anything too colorful because Cap has been wearing navy blue for all of the movies. Add a line or two to keep the Funko sales up, and that's been Captain America's lifespan for the entire MCU. It is so cool that they added the scale details on the scale pattern on his Endgame suit, calling back to the OG comics, but why did it take 7 appearances to get there? Once again, showing the MCU's cowardice in giving Captain America his iconography. The wings on his helmet reduced to some vague lines. And for some reason, they are allergic to giving him stripes on his stomach ab area. It's this fucking pattern. It's so odd. There's more to Cap than just the shield, and I wish they leaned into that more. Honestly, all the good aspects of Cap's suit design can apply to all the military type characters. Black Widow, Hawkeye, Bucky, Captain America. They're just a mess of combat gear, lines, and the occasional muddied color, but hey, they're part of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's no surprise the government ain't good at making good looking stuff. Okay, that's the bread. Time to make a Scooby-Doo ass sandwich, cause we're getting into the... Okay, this might feel disjointed, but let's take a step back to the DC universe for 1 minute. While these super suits are heavy on texture and add-ons, at the very least, everyone's costume looks distinct. Aquaman's suit does a good job looking Atlantean. The scales and wavy shape give it a unique vibe that's different from, let's say, Wonder Woman, who also has armor, but made of different materials and a different design style. Even the Flash's first suit, this chaotic mess, kind of works because it looks like something a kid would scrounge together in a cave with a box of scraps. So going back to the MCU, let's look at Miss Marvel's costume, which her mom made her and gifted to her, and we will see the good old, what I like to call, MCU leather. I don't know if it's actually leather. Every damn suit is made out of this material, and I am fucking sick of it. Ant-Man, science suit built to withstand shrinking. MCU leather. Captain Marvel, alien uniform designed for deep space. MCU leather. Shang-Chi, a martial artist who should be wearing loose, breathable clothing for, mobility. No. Fucking MCU leather. This shit is everywhere. And look, I don't even have a problem with regular leather. Older movies like X-Men and Daredevil used to have it, and while X-Men wasn't necessarily groundbreaking in the suit department, I would much rather have a team wearing this than a team wearing what looks like iguana skin. Like, I'm sorry, but I am so sick of this texture. All 3 Black Panther suits made from vibranium look like the same shit Rocket Raccoon is wearing, and I think that's so dumb. Other than like metal armor, the only character that I can think of wearing a distinctly different type of material is Spider-Man, which is why his suit is the best in the MCU.
But that's not saying much because I don't even love these suits. So many are overcomplicated, jumbled messes of lines. I get it, Tony Stark made them, so it makes sense that there's all this tech. But dog, you're over-designing one of the most classic superheroes of all time. It's Spider-Man.
Doctor Strange, they are too afraid to give this man his yellow gloves for some reason, and they won't go full Sorcerer Supreme and add the detail on his tunic. It's just barely there. They can't commit to a more accurate look. We finally get the yellow Wolverine suit, but it is over-designed to shit. You mean to tell me he's wearing this under his civilian clothes? Yeah. Okay. There are instances where you can add paneling here and there to give a little subtle detail. Ant-Man's first, second, third costume has a little ant face on it. That's pretty cute. Now please tell me what these sections are for. The pain really comes from the fact that we see a perfectly replicated brown Wolverine suit in the same movie. God damn it! wow. Oh, but if we really want to talk about gods, Thor is something else. Each suit just brushes against the classic designs. Sometimes he has the arms, you always got the circles on his chest, big red cape, you're looking like Thor. But it all comes back to material. This shit just looks too earthly. I could even forgive the complexity of his chest piece, which I think is a little overdone, if we had some like crafted metal and fitted leather that came from some ancient beast that was slain millenniums ago. But no, Thor looks like he got his shit from the same place everybody else does. This all culminates into the Love and Thunder armor, which is just wow. And there's a costume that he wears earlier that fits Thor perfectly. This dude looks like a Norse god, not whatever the hell this is. And lastly, the helmet. That's like one of the most iconic things about the dude. Of course, this is an issue that I have with the entirety of the MCU. Nobody keeps their fucking helmet on. I am the biggest fan of a sick ass helmet. You got like Star-Lord, Ant-Man, even Captain Marvel's weird mohawk thing. They all look sick. But everybody is so ready to just like rip that shit off. Black Panther taking off his helmet is one thing, okay? But Spider-Man taking off his mask? The dude whose whole bit is like his secret identity? And he's just gonna reveal himself to some dude? I might have messed up my sandwich. Daredevil is the one street level hero that I give the armor pass to. We see him go from sweats to hiring Kingpin's tailor. It all works out, and honestly, he's like the one guy who really needs the padding. Didn't watch the show, but Moon Knight's suit looks sick. It's a different take, being more mystical and less Batman like his other renditions. Looking at you, Marvel rivals. Also, Mr. Knight looks sick, but like, he's just a guy in a suit, and that's my favorite design trend. Oops. And I gotta bring up Marvel Rivals again. I know it's not the MCU, but they're doing a really good job at giving us new, interesting versions of these classic heroes while also giving them their classic costumes. I just really can't wait to see the roster grow and see what new additions they add, like the Fantastic Four. It's weird, but something about a couple of folks wearing matching suits does it for me. The coordination, the little design trends or symbols that signify the group, it's all far more interesting than a gang like the Avengers who are all just mixing a bunch of different designs. So, of course, I'm a big fan of Marvel's first family. I've recently gotten into Fantastic Four comics, and it's been so much fun seeing all the different renditions of the classic suit. Even the live action costumes, being their own take, still have the Fantastic Four essence in them. And hey, I'll say it, I don't think Fan-Four-Stick suits are that bad. Sure, they don't look like the classic Fantastic Four, but like Reed's with all the rubber bands, it just kind of makes sense. Though it is fucked up, they never gave Ben pants. And this brings us to the future of the MCU with their Fantastic Four first steps. I don't know what the name of the movie is. I'm really hopeful. It looks really good. We've got the first trailer. Everyone's in their costumes, and with this 60s aesthetic, it has forced the costume designers to use different textiles. They're bright, simple, but not boring. Amazing use of different textures on the blue and the white. Even the little techie parts aren't overcompensating for the more simple design. This is the best MCU costume out there. Who knows though, they'll probably get transported into the mainline universe and then get bullied into wearing MCU leather. Regardless, I'd take this over this any day. It's absolutely fantastic.
Say that again?
He says, so Ben 10 counts, goddammit. I love in the original series how a lot of aliens had clothes matching Ben's iconic white and black shirt. Some aliens even having different patterns to kind of mix things up. The later seasons got rid of this, causing all the aliens to just look naked.
Look at this dude.
Thankfully that was retconned in later seasons. Now instead of black and white, they're wearing black and green. Still looks great. Oh hey, there's another team that wears black and green. So I got into Fantastic Four, but I also got into Green Lantern, and it was so much fun seeing the classic Green Lantern uniform put onto all these weird aliens with different body types. Even the 4 Earth Lanterns have their own different way of utilizing the black, white, and green, so they stand out and don't just like all look like the same dude. So I'm hoping that the future of Green Lantern in live action will give us more costumes that evoke the power of the Green Lantern. This is just leather, bro. This is a wild jump, but I think the Power Rangers have some killer suits. it'd be considered a super team, right? While they're all wearing the same base, even a subtle change like a different helmet makes that character distinct and stand out from the rest. You also have a bunch of different themes which differentiate each set of Power Rangers from the other.
Tell you what, I'm in heaven.
Oh, and notice, they're just wearing simple spandex. There's no crazy detail, heavy fabric, padding, yet we still believe that this is a super suit designed to protect them from attacks? It's almost like we can suspend our disbelief when we're dealing with fiction, huh? But while we're here in Japan, there's a certain superhero property that, of course, I know you want me to talk about, and trust me, I have had a lot of thoughts for a long time. Okay, here we go. My Hero Academia has some of the worst super suits I've ever seen. I said some, okay? Actually, a lot of the adults have costumes that are interesting, have a nice theme, and play into their quirk really well. There's Kamui Woods, Rocklock, or Miriko. And they all have these fantastic costumes that play into their quirk, give hints to their powers. There's a cohesive theme, all while looking like a superhero. Here is Endeavor's first outfit. He's wearing a basic dark jumpsuit. That simplicity is made up by these bright lines that lead to the top, showing off this amazing fire collar. One of the coolest super suits for a fire character ever. The MCU gets criticized for their over-design a ton, but like, we should be looking at MHA. This second Endeavor suit shows the biggest issue I have with Horikoshi's design style. There's lines on lines, this new golden belt that doesn't match the color or design of anything he has on, more complicated gauntlets, and these giant ass shoulder pads that cover the fire around his neck. This being the case for a side character is one thing, but when your own damn MC has this problem, my god! Deku's first suit is great. Bright green with white stripes, a touch of red with his civilian shoes, which keeps it grounded. This is a homemade superhero outfit that his mother made him. Fantastic. Then there's the great subtle nod towards All Might with the rabbit ears mimicking All Might's hair and the mouth guard mimicking his smile. What's that? He never wears his hood again? Then the suit gets destroyed and it's time for an upgrade, more like a downgrade. The green has been turned down, the white stripes have turned black, and now he has these giant black shin guards on his legs, darkening the design even more. Not to mention these blue stripes on his glove, which add a new color, but we are not done yet. Gamma suit has his arms be white with these long gloves, and it would look fine if the lines were also white, but they aren't, so this just leaves his arms feeling disconnected from the rest of the costume. And then at the bottom, we get Deku's iconic red shoes covered with armor. It's a busy suit that doesn't say anything about Deku's powers or him as a character at all. Epsilon suit, and hey, he's wearing the hood and the mouth guard. Would you look at that? It looks awesome. His arms are now red, which makes up for his shoes being covered, but now the lack of white is replaced with this yellow cape that isn't a color that has ever been associated with Deku. And ending off with version 2 of the Epsilon suit, it is like an amalgamation of all of his suits mushed together with the addition of orange lines. Not yellow like the cape he still has on, but Dijon-ass mustard lines. There is just so much garbage thrown onto him. Reel it back, Horikoshi. Fuck. Honestly, a lot of these design choices aren't over-design or useless design, but just straight up stupid. Momo has a bookshelf on her ass so she can read about what items are made of. Bro, Todoroki has these little pods with supplies, and his collar has these plates that also regulate his temperature. Like, come on, dude. You could have just written this suit to have all of that inside. Why would you replace this amazing outfit? There's bangers, okay? Bakugo's grenade gauntlets, they're perfect. Look at Sero's helmet. It looks like a tape dispenser. That's genius. But then there's Class B, and everyone is just wearing like regular ass clothes. This dude didn't even get a shirt. I know, American comics have characters wearing casual clothes, but with those, it feels more like they just so happen to be sprung into like a superhero moment and not like this is their superhero outfit. She changes into this when she's ready to stop crime. It's kind of funny that like a lot of the kids' super suits are like the worst, and they're gonna be like the modern heroes. Like, damn. Superheroes fell off for real. While there is Captain America 4 and the Thunderbolts keeping the military vibes going, with Superman and especially the Fantastic Four getting great fan reception on the suit designs, let's hope that the studios see that and start leaning towards more bright, fun, and especially accurate suits again. In the gaming department, there's Marvel Rivals. I think that's it. I don't know if Wolverine is still in development, but the fact that it's made by the same people who made this suit, listen, I'm not too excited. And this whole time, I'm just talking about the big two. I mean, there's a bunch of classic, fantastic superhero suits. There's The Boys, a great mix of realism and comic books. And I mean, I'm sure there's millions of indie comics that I don't even know exist. Not to mention, I didn't even touch villains. There have been some great adaptations, some bad, of course, but as a whole, I think they've been doing a really good job, and even the more realistic take on them adds to the menace of the villain, like the Vulture or the Riddler. And then there's real life superheroes wearing real super suits, doing like fighting real crime. Like, this is a rabbit hole. Listen, I'm some dude, so my grand thesis, doesn't really mean much, but there's no denying that the homogenization of the superhero genre not only strips a lot of these characters of their individuality, but also removes the fantasy of superheroes. This is fiction after all. You can have a line or two to show a scene, but dude, is this really necessary? There's some good super suits, a lot of bad, but really that's just the genre as a whole. But that good is why I personally love superheroes. You can have people with crazy abilities stopping evil, but there really isn't anything like a superpowered being swooping in, saving the day, all while wearing some colorful skin-tight spandex. Especially if it's a lady.
I like the girls that do drugs.